reviewed the podcast, and one of the things, and we're going to get into it. I'll play it exactly what they said and how it went down.
We care what Wichita thinks.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
But they mentioned us, and they, not really critiqued us, but they just kind of gave what they thought about the show, and it was good stuff. And we'll play that tomorrow. I don't want to get into that now because there's a lot I want to talk about, but they pretty much said too, they're like, wow, this guy, and if we think this girl is his girlfriend, maybe, I don't know. But they said that, yeah, if you're on the fence about whether you should stop drinking or not, don't listen to the podcast if you want to quit drinking, or if you don't want to quit drinking, because it will make you want to quit drinking. And they, mentioned how real it was. And the guy even said, yeah, and I don't know what episode he listened to. I think it was maybe last week's or something, where maybe it was Tuesdays. I don't know. But he had said that I was talking about, thinking about drinking and, oh, what a good buzz that is. And then when you actually start drinking, you realize that buzz isn't even that good. Mm-hmm. And so you keep going and going and going, trying to chase it. And it never was that good in the first place. And now you're right back at square one. So he was like, wow, that really made him think. And like I said, I'll play the whole segment from their podcast of them talking about our podcast tomorrow on Sunday. So
I always think it's interesting when people that like aren't alcoholics or addicts are not really like shooting for listening to something like, I'm just going to review some podcasts. I mean, you could have been listening to food, critique podcasts.
They were rough on some of them.
Yeah. I mean, they were all over the board. And I'm like, and then you like hit on us. You're probably just like, whoa, all right. No, but they were kind, I think.
Yeah.
I was happy with it.
There was a couple they didn't like, and they were pretty honest about that. And like I said, I've listened to some recovery podcasts, and I like my friend Mr. Deere.
You heard from him lately?
I haven't, and he was going to be on the podcast, so we had to touch base with him again. But I liked what he had to talk about. But he's in New Zealand, I think, and the time difference is such a crazy thing. I mean, we could make it happen for sure, a happy middle or a happy medium or whatever. But I liked the way he talked, about recovery, and you could just feel that passion. And some of these guys, I don't know, I was listening to this one show, and he was just like, yeah, we're broadcasting from some recovery center in Florida on the Caribbean or something. And I'm like, I'm like, so you're taking money from and that's nothing wrong with that, man. Dude's got to eat, but it sounded more like it was a radio station remote where, hey, we're broadcasting live.
Recovery in Paradise.
Turks and whatever it's called.
Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, there you go. I don't vacation much. So, it just kind of made me feel like, really, dude, you're going to talk about how great this place is, and they're not paying you. They just flew you there for free and that's paying you, bro. Like, they set you up in a hotel, gave you a bunch of free stuff. That you have to claim that on your taxes. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. But yeah, there's some that are just like, whoa. And I don't know. I think that we're all right. But it was cool that they didn't say we sucked or anything, which I knew they wouldn't say that. But we'll play it for you tomorrow. And of course, you're listening to this. It's probably Sunday already. We got a little late start on it, and but we do appreciate you listening. That's for sure. And Anna, I want to throw a shout out to her because she was cracking me up today. First of all, she's on this Bigfoot kick. Did she send you the movie video?
I didn't look in my emails.
Well, you saw the video. Well, you were on the podcast.
Yeah.
We were at Anna's, and we talked to her about her Bigfoot experience, where she said she saw Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And so we played the video for her of the guy from North Carolina. And
he says, get.
Yeah, I saw him over here.
Uh-huh.
So now she's on this kick, and she's sending me songs with that being remixed. And, well, today she sends me a video, and I guess she was in St. Ignace by the ferries, Maybe she was going to Mackinac Island. I don't know. But they have a Bigfoot statue. So she grabs the stick and she's like quoting the dude word for word. Get. Yes. And I saw him over here and get. So I told her, I was like, send me that video because I pray I have time to make that into some kind of remix because I think that would be awesome.
Oh, that's great.
It was funny, and I give her a shout out for that. And then she told me too, she was like, "Hey, and I love that you and her are trying, and well, not trying. You guys are finding different avenues for 217 recovery to go, and we look for donations and support from the community." And she ran into a guy, and she said he was a hot dog vendor, sold hot dogs. I got to talk to her more about it, but she said that he, gives his profits to nonprofit organizations and that he was going to do that for 217 recovery this year. And I thought, well, okay, well, what's the name of the place, Anna? Like we can, we didn't tell him, hey, if you give us that, we'll give you plugs on our show, but we should give him a big thank you on our show, and we definitely will do that. But, a name would be great, Anna. And I don't know. It's very cool. And I just think everything's coming around, and we had talked about our higher power and God a little bit ago, but I think everything's coming around just like it's supposed to, with Anna, now having more time, you having more time at this moment. I think it's all happening for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, and, just the fact to kind of get everybody together. And Anna texted me this morning too, because I told her about the event in Paw Paw that we're going to on September 19th, the Recovery Zone rally. First, I'm not going to say it, just going to say the first. Okay. Not going to say annual, Jewel. And I told her about that, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, can we speak?" I'm like, "I'm sure, yeah, we could probably talk, whatever, we'll be doing our podcast from there and stuff." And
next thing you know,
yeah, get up there. And so she woke up the next morning and she texted me and she said, "Oh my God, I had a dream that I was at the UFAM rally and I was up there speaking." And she said she was so nervous that when she woke up, she was still nervous and had to go. It's like, I had to go outside and smoke a cigarette real fast because I was still so nervous.
That's funny.
Oh, wait till you get up there, Anna, in front of thousands of people all staring at you.
Right.
Better not mess up, Anna. Just kidding. No, I think we messed up enough the first time I had Anna up when we did like some speaker night thing, and it was horrible. And I just kind of looked at the guys and was like, well, we can't get much worse than that, so let's move forward. And I've had those moments in radio, where I was on stage and there's like thousands of people out there, and I never messed up that bad, but whatever, man. You learn to get over it pretty quick. There was one time, though, I couldn't throw a shirt off stage, and I didn't know how far the stage really was, and it's hard throwing a T-shirt. That's why they have guns that shoot them.
I would love to see that.
And so I'm like,
I'm like
pointing at the crowd. I think it was like for Rodney Carrington, or we had to introduce somebody like that or something, and I don't know. It was when I was in Arkansas and pointing at the crowd like, "You want a shirt over here?" Doing the Hulk Hogan, like with the ear and the hand. "What? Over here? Can you hit me? What? Yeah." Threw it. And I hear laughter, and I'm like, "What?" And then Steve's like, Steve, we called him the hater. He worked for the country station. He was up there with me too. He's like, "Didn't make it off stage, windshield." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Didn't make it off stage." And I looked, oh, shit. So I went and picked it. Was at the end. So like all the front row was just like, "Wow, you couldn't even throw it off the stage." Yeah, it was bad. And I was like, whatever. There you go.
I'm just picturing this. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But, man, it was great. I was getting them worked up. "We want it over here." Doing the Hulk Hogan. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and then go to chuck it, and it doesn't even make it off the stage. So, I mean, those were those moments, So, I mean, that was pretty embarrassing. And you just kind of look and just go, okay. There's worse things that have happened. And one time we were at this country fest, and it was in Oklahoma. No, it was in Arkansas. Mulberry Mountain, Thunder on the Mountain. And then there was 100,000 people easy. And it was like this 3-day festival. There were so many babies made. Oh. I don't want to think about that. But so there's all these people out there, and they just had like some kind of like hippie fest or something the week before, and I don't know what the porta potties. There was some situation with something, and the whole place smelled like just dookie. It really wasn't that fun. So anyway, back to my story though about on stage. So we're on stage, and my coworker, she worked in Fayetteville, and I worked for a Fayetteville station, but I did my show from Fort Smith. I did my show in Fort Smith from Fort Smith, and my show in Fayetteville from Fort Smith. So I'd only meet up with them, a few times a year, but since I was promotions director, it started to be more and more. So we kind of worked this event together, and we go out together to introduce this band. And I was like, I'm not about this country life. I don't know what these people. I don't know who they are. I hate country. So I let her go ahead and introduce, and I just kind of went out there to support her because she was all like nervous and I can't mess this up. And she had her little cards and so anyway, the band. I don't remember what band it was. If it wasn't Brooks and Dunn, but it was like I don't remember. But anyway, it'd be like saying, hey, here's Metallica recording artist Silver Records. She mixed them.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of saying, like, here's the Silver Records artist Metallica, it was like, here's Metallica artist Silver Records. And I just looked at her in the face of,
man,
like was on her face, and I couldn't do anything but laugh. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I didn't even know that. Like that was bad, and this is the look on her face is like I still just see it today. And Audrey, if you're listening, that was hilarious. Audie, sorry, but yeah, I doubt she's listening. But
maybe she's like, at least I can throw a t-shirt off the stage.
Ooh, zinger. I don't know, but those were good times. And so anyway, yeah, but Anna, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. And if anything, I'll go up there and I'll either laugh at you if you mess up, or I'll throw some t-shirts, and I'll make it easy for you for sure. But no, it's once you do it a couple hundred times, it's nothing. So it just takes a couple hundred times, but no, it doesn't take that much. But once you kind of get to I'm telling my story, like first of all, they're not going to know if you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going. But we should film. We should do that. We should film like us practicing. And by us, I mean you and Anna and Chris. If Chris still wants to do it, I got to get a hold of him. But
yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to film stuff now. I got the camera.
I know.
Phone. Oh, and one thing that we do need to mention before we go is the license plate for the 217 recovery car.
Yeah, right on.
Coincidence or not, you tell me. Okay, the first letters.
Yeah, I open up the license. Well, we've been waiting for this to come in the mail for over 2 weeks now. So we finally get it, and I snapshot the actual package because I was like, oh, it's going to be like Christmas. I'll let him open it up or whatever. Well, then he asked if there's the screws come with it. So I'm like, oh, check and see. Because I couldn't really, it was bulky because there was a bunch of paper in there on top of it. So I thought maybe there might have been in there. I open it up. I'm texting him back. Like, nope, doesn't look like there's any screw. And as I'm typing this text, I take the plate out and it says DD. 2356 or something, and I was like, "You gotta be totally kidding me right now!" Yeah, guess we're DD now.
At first,
how did they know?
Yeah, designated drivers. And first, I just thought, "Oh, double D's." Not really, but kind of really. But then you're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh yeah, this, designated driver."
Yeah,
that's coincidence. I don't know.
I
think God's playing it out for us, but. Yeah, well, we'll review the review of our review from those guys in Wichita's podcast tomorrow, and I think we're going to review a movie again too. And then I got an email from a lady, and maybe some other people can chime in on this and maybe give advice to what they would do or how they would handle the situation. It has to do with marijuana. And a 16-year-old. Yeah, tune in tomorrow. But thanks for listening, and 217recovery.com resources